Hello and welcome. I'm Lloyd with the QMI Technical Training Team, and today we're going to perform the QMI three-step fuel system service. In order to do that, what do we need? Well, first off, we need the QMI three-step fuel system kit, which includes an induction cleaner, it includes a throttle body cleaner aerosol, and it also includes the third step, which is a take additive. Now with that, what tools are we going to need? We have throttle body brushes to clean the throttle body. We have our induction bottle that allows us to introduce this to the intake area. And then we have our pedal depressor that allows us to set the idle on the vehicle that we need so we can perform the service properly. So with this, we're going to be able to demonstrate a complete QMI three-step fuel system service. So now we're ready. We're going to move over to the vehicle so we can get started. Now, before we get started with the service, some key notes I want to touch on is safety. We want to make sure we have gloves that protect our skin and our hands. We also want to make sure that we're wearing eye protection so we protect any projectiles or chemicals or any spray getting into our eyes. We also want to make sure that we don't have any loose clothing or jewelry as we're working in a running engine that we're going to have a problem with and get caught up in the fan. So now, once we've got that under control, now we're ready to start the service. And the first service is our throttle body cleaning. Typically what you're going to do is always use the pedal depressor inside the cabin to push the gas pedal to the floor. That will, in most cars, open the throttle body. If it doesn't, some of the electronic drive-by-wire throttle bodies will not allow that without a key signal. So then you go back to inside the cabin, turn the key to on, not run, just on. Then you come back out and check, and in some cars it's going to open the butterfly, and it's going to have it parallel with the opening, and it's going to allow you to spray in there and clean. Unfortunately, there are some vehicles, and GDI vehicles, and some PFI vehicles, that under no circumstances it's going to allow you to clean the throttle body. And unfortunately, in this demo right here, this is a particular vehicle that's that way. As you can see, I have the pedal depressor in the cabin with pushing the pedal to the floor. I also have the key on, and as you can see, the throttle body is completely closed. So as far as cleaning this particular throttle body, we can wet the rag and wipe in this area, the opening of the throttle body. It's all we're going to be able to do. We do not want to manipulate that butterfly at all. Because we throw off the synchronization between here and the gas pedal, then you'll have a vehicle that will constantly try to find an idle. It will surge constantly. So if it doesn't open by the pedal depressor inside the vehicle and the key on, you can't service it. But fortunately, what we do have is we have a bench with the throttle body on it that I can simulate showing how to clean a throttle body. So we're going to go to that right now. Now, like I said, on our workbench, we have a throttle body off the vehicle that we can simulate cleaning. If you can manipulate with the pedal depressor and the key on inside the cabin, this is what you're going to see. It's going to open the throttle plate into a parallel position, and then what that's going to allow us to do is take our throttle body spray and we're going to just coat it real good. Then we're going to take our throttle body brush and then we're just going to rub around cleaning the perimeter of the throttle body opening, and then we're also going to clean the top and bottom of the throttle plate itself. And as we do this, we're going to clean and we're going to lubricate even the throttle shaft so it gets an even operation as you're pressing the gas pedal. As we clean that, this can handle multiple vehicles. You should never use one can per one vehicle. That's way too much product. So you want to clean it. You don't want to sit and hold it because we don't want to pull this up in the intake. We just want to use it more as a lubricant. Let's wet it down and then let's clean it. So as you get to that point, take a rag, you're going to wipe it out, and then we're going to be ready to continue to the next step. All right, now that we've got the throttle body service done, we're now going to go to the most critical point of the service, is locating the vacuum source where we're going to introduce the induction cleaner. Most of the times you'll have a engine cover over here. This one is removed for appearance. But what you want to look for is, where's the vacuum source closest to the throttle body? Now, a lot of guys open the hood and say, where's the closest or where's the quickest accessible vacuum source? And most of the time, it's right here off of the brake booster. It's always outside of an engine cover. It's away from the throttle body, and it's the easiest to pick up. Two issues with this hose location on this vehicle. You see, it originates here. It actually goes into the intake in the very back, all the way downstream here. Two things. We cannot push the fluid upstream, number one, so all the product's going to go into the closest cylinder, which is going to saturate it. Number two, the length of this hose will turn the itemized product back into a liquid, and instead of putting a itemized vapor in here, we're dumping a liquid into here. We dump enough liquid into here and it runs into one cylinder, we could get catastrophic damage. So always pay attention to your vacuum source. Locate where it begins and where it ends, and then make your decision. On this particular vehicle, we found the evap purge canister valve, which is here, located by a green cap. We follow that around, and it actually introduces that vapor right here behind the throttle body. So what we're going to do, this is going to be our location. So we are going to grab our bottle. We've removed the clamp. Now we've removed the hose, and as you notice, we need a connection here. So we have a short piece of hose that we're going to attach, and we're going to put our nozzle here, just like that. Now what we need to do in order to continue this service, we're going to need to start the engine. We're going to need to make sure it's at operating temperature, and then we're also going to have to bring the idle up 12 to 1500 before we put the product in, because as you can see, there is no ball valve in line. So the moment we start putting product in at idle, it's going to start pulling the fluid through. We don't want that. We want to get good airflow, bring the idle up before we introduce the product. So right now I'm going to go and I'm going to start the engine, and I'm going to increase the idle. All right, now that I've started the engine and I've got it in operating temperature and I got the RPMs between 12 and 1500, I've also made sure that I've ventilated the exhaust outside so we don't stand a chance of harming myself or anyone else. We're going to pour the induction cleaner into the induction bottle. I'm going to remove the cap. Now, some of you may ask, why do we have to start the engine first? Good question. As you can see, there's no ball valve in line here to stop the flow of fluid, like I said earlier. So we got the engine idle set, so as soon as we pour the product in, it's going to start administering. Right now, we don't have a chance of lugging the engine down or getting a fluid buildup in the intake. We also want to make sure that for the first few moments, we monitor the idle to make sure it doesn't struggle too much. So now we're going to put the product in. As you can see, it's already starting to pull it in by vacuum. And then we're going to put the cap on. Now, it's already pulling the product in, as you can see by the vacuum at the vacuum source. It's going to keep the line filled until it's finished. We've got it dyed green for two reasons. Number one, this is an environmentally safe product, number one. Number two, it's dyed green in a somewhat clear bottle, so you don't have to stand here and watch it. Once you feel comfortable that the engine is steady, that you're not having a stall or a lugging situation, you then can walk away from it, not too far, but you can always glance over and see where the level's at. Like I said earlier, this should take 15 to 20 minutes. So right now we're going to let this run and complete the service. All right, now it's been about 16 minutes, and as you can see, we're about at the end of the service of the induction portion of it now. So what we're going to do is this ends, we're going to bring the idle up to 2,000 RPMs, and we're going to let it run for 2 minutes. to clear any residual product that may be lingering in the intake. Once we do that, we'll be able to button this back up and complete the service at that point. All right, now we have the engine off because we finished purging any residual out of here. We've removed our induction bottle. We've reattached our vacuum hose. So we got that back to normal. Now we want to start the vehicle. We want to check, make sure there's no loose connections or loose vacuum hoses that's going to create a problem. Once that's done, shut the engine off, put the engine covers back on it, and get that ready to go. To finish the service is step 3, which is the fuel tank additive. Just walk that around, pour it in the fuel tank, put the cap back on it, or if it's capless, just close the lid, and then the service is complete. You can take it for a short test drive just to make sure there's no errors that you might have run across, and then you're able to give this back to the consumer. We thank you for watching the video today, and if you have any questions, please contact our QMI tech line at 800-255-8138, option 4, and we'd be gladly to help you. Thank you, and have a good day.